This is a G4 Mac Mini that I picked up at the good old thrift store for 30 Canadian rubles. I have no idea if it works. I have no idea what's in it other than the box says it's a 1.42 gigahertz power PC. Let's open it up, see what we got, and if it even works. And hopefully we can refurbish it and make it run even better. That's today on Tech Guy Life. All right, so we got a Mac Mini from the thrift store. As is, needs a power cord. Someone wrote on the box, but luckily I have a Mac Mini of that ilk's power brick because I have one of the Intel Mac Minis that came out just after these. Let's see if it even powers on and find out what's in the box too, other than we know it's not going to have a power cord. So we have, oh, look at that, the Mac Mini itself, the user guide. Who needs one of those? And then there is a DVI to VGA adapter, which will probably be handy. All right. So yeah, not much in the old box. So let's take a look at this thing and see what we got here. So we've got slot for the optical drive, which I have no idea if it works or not. I believe it's a DVD drive. Didn't go any further than that. Let's see, on the back side, we have got the power connector, power button, Ethernet, which is 10100, a modem. You guys remember those? So we got a 56K modem, DVI video connection, which of course can be converted to VGA with this little bad boy, two USB, I believe, 2.0 ports, FireWire, and headphones or speakers, whichever you prefer. So let's hook this up and see if it actually does anything. So we'll convert it to VGA because I happen to have my VGA to HDMI adapter right here. So we will plug that in. I'll plug in the audio for fun. Plug in some power. All right, we'll fire up the video capture. I don't have a mouse or keyboard for this yet, but I'll get one if this actually turns on. Here we go. Well, it made the noise. That's a good sign. It sounds like there's a disk in the drive. But I am still not getting any... Oh, there we go. Picture. Wonder what's going to be in this thing. Well, we have Earl's computer, but it has a password. I don't think we're going to be able to get the password. So it booted up really fast. So I wish I knew if we could get into it or not, and what we could, like, what's in there. We know that it turns on, so that's a good sign. So let's just shut it down. Let's take it apart and see what's inside. I'm hoping it's got the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. All right, if nobody knows how to get into these Mac Minis, you have to go in through the bottom. And you have to pry the sides up using something really thin. You can see by the damage there that someone has already tried to open up this case, or has already opened up the case. Maybe we've got maximum amount of RAM, which would be super sweet since RAM is ridiculous right now. So the easiest way I've found to get into these things is with a putty knife. And because the putty knife is nice and thin but still rather firm, you can slide it in and pop out a lot of the clips. Just like that. It also helps that someone's been in this before, so the seal's kind of broken on it. So the clips have been undone at least once, or at least presumably once, because we don't know if they actually got it open or not. And there we go. Okay, so now we can flip it over and just kind of pry up on the lid. All right, this is what I was not hoping for. There is no Wi-Fi antenna in here. There should be a Wi-Fi antenna right there, and that means that this board does not have the built-in Wi-Fi card, which sucks. Here is our single stick of RAM. Be nice if it was like 512. And we've got, whoa, I think this is a gig. Yeah, DDR 1024. I think this is a 1 gig stick. And it's from OWC, which is like the makers of Mac things. I think this has got a gig of RAM, which is a really nice surprise. Means I don't have to upgrade it at all. Totally forgot how to work on these. There's three black screws that you got to take out of here. So one here, and one here, and this whole thing just comes off. So this is where the what's called the mezzanine board would have been for the Wi-Fi. So I guess to put this on Wi-Fi, I'm going to have to go with a dongle, a USB dongle. Oh, we got the CMOS battery. I'll probably just swap that out. I want to see what this card is. Ah, of course. That's the modem. So, pointless. We got our replacement 2032. Let's get that in place. So I can get to this screw, and this screw. I'm hoping that there's no screw in that side. Oh no, it is. I can see it there. Great. So I got to disassemble pretty much this whole bloody thing. Even when Apple let you upgrade their computers, they sure didn't make it easy on you. It's like they never considered hard drives as a piece that would be upgraded or something that might die, because they buried them in their machines. So we got your typical 80 gig IDE laptop hard drive from the era in here, and I want to try to kick this up a notch and get an SSD in there. All right, so I got one of these little adapters for the IDE to SATA, and I am not sure if this is going to fit in here, but we're going to give it a try. I dropped one of the screws for the CD-ROM and it fell on the floor, so it is lost forever. So now my big question is going to be, is there going to be enough room for the serial port card or the modem card and get this into this slot along with the now lowered hard drive? And I'm going to guess no. And that's a big no. It will not fit. So this solution is not going to work, so I'm going to have to come up with a plan B. All right, so while we wait for my storage plan B to arrive, I want to do a couple things with this machine. I believe that I have reset the password on the user on the hard drive. So I put it back together, and I found this article where they give you steps on how to get in there and bypass the password and reset it on any user in the system. And I'll put a link for that down below if you find yourself in that type of a situation. But let's see if it actually worked. One of the other things I did was I changed the adapter from the Apple to VGA one, because it was just not working well with my VGA to HDMI adapter, and I happened to find a DVI to HDMI adapter, which, you know, probably is a better choice anyway. So let's turn this on and see if we can get into the machine to find out what its official specs are, and also find out if there's actually a disk in the drive. I've got my Apple keyboard connected, and I have mouse from my Emac project, which I'll link to somewhere along here. But anyway, let's try firing this up and seeing if we can get in. Pressing the button now. That was loud. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if my resetting of the password worked. Oh, yes, it worked. Great, so I'll definitely put a link. I'll put a link to those instructions down below because it worked. All right, interesting background on here. Apparently they liked LimeWire back in the day. Oh, and what's in here? Okay, so there is a disk in the system, and it is the Mac OS 9 install disk. Oh, yeah. It's one of the restore disks, which is the Mac OS 9 restore disk, which is great because I was looking at getting the restore discs, getting them burnt from, on some discs from the archive of the internet, wink, wink. The second disc was a dual layer DVD, which I just didn't happen to have any blanks. So I can get the 10.4, but then I needed a dual layer blank in order to burn the disc that had that on it. So now I can just burn the 10.4 disc, get the recovery going on this machine, and then now I have the actual disc to reinstall the classic OS, which is what I really want to do because I want to use this machine for my retro games instead of my Emac. Just simply because the Emac is so big. All right, let's see what this machine actually is. All right, so we're running 10.4.11, which is the last OS that supports the classic operating system. It's a 1.42 gigahertz power PC, which we knew about because that's what was on the box. And it is maxed out at the 1 gig of DDR memory, which is perfect. But this is a lovely looking family, is it not? I want to test a couple of, I think these are Bluetooth dongles that I've got because I have a Bluetooth keyboard and a Bluetooth mouse that's, I think I've got a Bluetooth mouse somewhere, and I would rather use that than the wired keyboards just because I don't like wires. So I'm hoping that one of these is a Bluetooth adapter. So let's try plugging them in and seeing if they work. I'm going to start with this one because it's kind of like half open. So I'm going to start with this one because it's got a cracked shell on it and it's like half open. So we'll see if this one actually is detected by Mac OS or not. Okay, it's plugged in. Let's go about this Mac again. Go to more info and go into Bluetooth, and yep, look at that. It found it. So that's cool. Excellent. So that's one that works, or it should work. So let's try the other one then. So can I just pull this out while it's running? All right, let's try this one and see if it works. Okay, it also seems to be working. This one is a Cambridge silicone radio, or silicon. Silicone? Who do you say? Silicone? Silicon. I guess it's silicon or silicon when it comes to computer stuff. Let's find out if I can use a Wi-Fi to connect to the internet. I only have one Wi-Fi adapter in USB. This is a wireless N, so it'll be okay. Not going to be awesome, but be surprised if it actually works though. Built-in Ethernet, built-in FireWire. So no, it is not finding that card at all. I'm going to go see if I can, maybe there's some drivers for it. I don't know. Found, I think, some drivers for the MediaTek unit, and also I had this little Wi-Fi dongle as well. So one of these maybe will work. But let's try the MediaTek one because I already have it plugged in. So that's this file here. This might be drivers for it. Okay. Looks like we might be kind of screwed here. Okay, let's try the other one. Because the other one I noticed I got 2 different driver packages. There's a 3 and a version 4. So maybe one of them will work on the 10.4. So we'll just test it on this setup. And if it does work, we'll have a ready-made thing for when we restore the drive. Okay, restart. Let's see if we come back with wireless internet. Okay, those drivers don't seem to be working. It's not bringing up anything. I don't think it's even showing. It doesn't show a device anywhere. Okay, so I found an uninstall command that I didn't notice before, and I removed the version 4 drivers that we installed and tried putting in the version 3. So let's see if anything changed. No, it doesn't appear like it did anything. Not getting any Wi-Fi. Could be doing something completely wrong. No idea. Probably should read the instructions. Nah. But anyway, my plan B has arrived. Here is my plan B for storage. This is an M.2 SATA to IDE converter board. This drive that I have apparently runs at both NVMe or SATA, so I'll give it a try and see if it actually works. I'm not going to hold my breath either way. I have a backup plan already here in case that doesn't work. But yeah, so that's what this does. So we'll be able to put this together. It'll appear like a regular size hard drive. We'll be able to mount it in here absolutely properly. I'm so confident that this is going to work. I put in all of the screws. So confident. Let's say goodbye to Earl's configuration on here. It is time to pull out the old hard drive and install this one and see if we can get a fresh install of Mac OS 10.4. Old drive is out. New drive is in. We'll just temporarily put it in like this. Everything is back together just enough to test. So let's see if the drive shows up and if we can boot a new copy of Mac OS. All right, so let's start the setup and see if we can get into that drive. See if that drive even shows up. And it does not show that drive. Okay, let's try my backup drive. See if that shows up. Fingers crossed. Installed my other drive, which is actually a real M.2 SATA, and it works fine. It's showing up in the drive list. And there it is there. All right, let's see if we can install. So close that. Go back over here. Continue. Agree. There's the drive. Excellent. Continue. And install. Oh, great. Anyway, I'm going to let this go, and hopefully we do a nice wipe to finished. Okay, we are back. It took 2 times to do it because what I forgot to do the first time was when you select the options for installing, I had to deselect all the stuff that was on disk 2 because disk 2 I don't have because it's the dual layer one. But if you deselect all the extra software like iLife and all that stuff, you get it just to install macOS. Perfect. Just what I wanted. I downloaded on my other computer. I downloaded the 4.11 combo update, threw it on a flash drive, plugged it in, got that installed, totally up to date. I used the disk that I found in the machine in order to install the classic environment, so we're good. Also, I could not get that other dongle, the Wi-Fi ones, this one or this one, to work. Totally just couldn't find the right drivers. But I was digging around and I found this guy. And it had a driver disk in there. Went in, grabbed the files, threw it on a flash drive, put it in here because it came on a mini CD. And of course, you can't put a mini CD in a slot load. But now we are online with this, and it's working fine. Yeah, it doesn't wake from standby very well. So yeah, the Wi-Fi was turned off. I just unplugged it, plugged it back in, and now it's back online again. So there is our 256 gig SSD put into that IDE conversion tray box thingy. Slap it in here, works like a charm. Is it that much faster? No, because it is completely limited by the speed of the IDE interface, which is, compared to now, dog ass slow. But it's going to max out that speed, not be any slower than its maximum, and also no moving parts. So no disk drive in there slowing things down. So now I think we can just shut it down, put it all back together nicely, and let's do some stuff with it. And I want to see if this guy is going to replace my Emac, because it's a heck of a lot smaller and you can hook it up to modern displays. Makes it nice. Little change of plans. One thing I want to do before I put all this back together properly, see if I can get the lid off of this CD DVD combo drive and clean the laser. And if you recall, I dropped one of the fourth screw for the CD-ROM drive, so it will never have 4 screws again. Could not find my Captain tape, so we're just going to use some electrical tape to hold the wires down. Should be okay. There we go. Nicely bundled up. Hey, if anybody has a spare Wi-Fi card, the Bluetooth already built in, and you don't have anything to do with it, let me know. Oh man, getting this thing in here is hard. There we go. Hey. Nah. So what's happened is you can see these little silver tabs. They're supposed to be behind this. And that's what's keeping the case from closing. So I got to pry it open a little bit. Get them to pop behind. And then hopefully it'll close. There it goes. Not graceful, but it's closed. Now, the top's gone yellowed. I don't know if that shows up very well on camera, but just going to give it a clean. I have the Mac Mini all put back together, cleaned it up as best as I could. This is kind of yellowed. I don't know if there's any way to get rid of the yellowing or even if that shows up on camera properly, but it is a little off. But still, this machine's working pretty good. Now what I want to do is I found a little USB 2 hub so I can plug more than one thing in at a time, actually 2 things. And I want to see if I can get a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse hooked up this thing so I can get rid of the wired one. So I'd like to introduce another thrift store find. Found this. It's a little bit newer than what this machine would have come with, but I like that it's small because I don't need a number pad or any of that fun stuff. So let's see if we can actually get this paired to this machine. So we want to go set up a new device and continue. Oh, interesting. Most things don't do this anymore, but we're going to say keyboard, continue, and then we're going to turn this on and hold the power button down. And apparently this is Adrian Owen's keyboard. Well, Adrian, I've got your keyboard. You can't have it back because I bought it. All right, let's do the pairing number here. 96045 681, enter. Hey, there we go. Set up another new device because what I have is, let me put that down, is I've got this. It is not an Apple mouse. It just kind of looks like their style. It's a pretty crappy mouse. I have a real Apple wireless Mighty Mouse, so similar to this guy, but wireless. On the way, it just didn't arrive in time. So I'm just going to use this temporarily. So let's see, we turn it on. And then I assume we will hold the connect button down. Okay, blue light. There's a little blue light on the top. You won't be able to see it, but it's blinking quickly. So we'll go set up a new device. Continue. We will go for a mouse. Continue. See if it finds it. Oh, there it is. Nice. Pairing attempt was unsuccessful. Well, that doesn't surprise me. All right, I found another mouse option. I was digging around and pulled this out. Couple of problems I had with this though. It had the fake rubberized stuff that they put on the outside, and it had turned to sticky goo. So that's pretty easy to rectify. You just have to clean it off with isopropyl alcohol, but it is a mess to clean off. Comes off easily, but you'll make a mess. So just keep cleaning everything with isopropyl alcohol. Eventually, you'll get it done. The other issue was I had left batteries in this thing, so they had exploded everywhere, but cleaned up pretty simply. No problems. Just a little bit of contact cleaner and a brush. All the stuff came off. So let's try pairing this guy. Go set up a new device, and this time we're gonna go with the mouse and hold the connect button, and there it is. Sweet. Let's see if this one will connect. Sweet. So now we can disconnect the wired mouse and keyboard and put those out of the way. All right, so everything is working now. Bluetooth keyboard, Bluetooth mouse, although I'm going to have to clean this keyboard. Apparently it's got some sticky keys on it. Maybe a good isopropyl alcohol bath will bring it back to life. And that is about it. Except we got to put some games on here. Let's see what we can load. I'm having a lot of fun here. Over the summer, I went to a few garage sales and I hit the mother load at one where I found this, which has got all of the Warcraft 3 games in it. I got this with all the Diablo games in it. And I found this, which had StarCraft 2 in it, but inside was also the original StarCraft and the expansion set. All of these games come with both their PC and the Mac versions on the same discs. So I have been installing all of these to play them, and it's a lot of fun. It's a big blast from the past. This is my copy of Warcraft 2 that I have had since the dawn of time. One thing, though, that we are totally spoiled on is the CD-ROM in this thing is loud. When it's playing a game and it's using the drive and it's spinning, it's louder than the fans in the system, but it's still great. I'm just having fun with it. So I'm going to continue installing games and playing, and I'll probably be playing these games for several hours. We resurrected this G4 from the thrift store. We put in a new 256 gig solid state drive. It, luckily enough, already had the RAM in it that it needed. It was maxed out. We put it on Wi-Fi. We put it on Bluetooth, even though those weren't included in the machine. The machine does not have enough USB ports if you've got to use both of the two USB ports for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Right now, I'm picking Bluetooth over Wi-Fi if I need to plug in an expansion drive. So anyway, that's it for this episode. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.